Yeah, hi folks. Yes, it's well known that corporates that openly cancel people because of their political opinions are often referred to as corporate communists, or even corporate fascists for that matter. But what would you call Countdown that openly affords Maori special treatment based on race? Well, you'd have to call them corporate racists, wouldn't you? Self-checkouts to have Te Reo Maori option at Countdown. With over 3 million customers through their stores every week, Countdown Director of Corporate Affairs, Safety and Sustainability, Kerry Hannaford, says it's an opportunity to introduce Te Reo Maori into everyday things for whānau, which includes shopping for kai. Now, I'd say whānau and kai are probably the only words Kerry Hannaford knows.
Kia ora koutou. I'm so excited to share that Countdown have launched Te Reo Māori as an option on their self-checkout machines. All you have to do is click Te Reo Māori at the...
Yeah, now what about Chinese, Japanese, Korean and Samoan people, etc., who live here? Do they get an option? Well, of course not. This is all based on falsehoods about so-called indigenous rights coming from the UN and falsehoods about our treaty.
bottom of the screen. Te pēke tāki. I've got my own bag. E mataratanga pēke. Unexpected item in the bagging area. Me utu i nāianei. Pay now.
Now let's find out what kind of woman Kerry Hannaford is.
Benny, did we get any? We got back to her, and is she going to come on or not? Why not? She didn't say. What? No, come in here and tell me. Come in here and get on the microphone. Let's just sort this out. Grab. Which one? Which one are you on? Tap one of them. Guess one. Guess one. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. You don't. Well, I don't know. You need the headphones. Yeah.
Oh, I like to look professional, Sean.
Okay, all right. So, what did you say? What did she say?
Well, I just went back to her and said, well, I'm surprised that you thought we were RNZ because, I mean, first of all, my email that I sent her to is being at theplatform.kiwi. I said I produced the morning show on the platform for Sean Plunkett. Would you like to come and talk to us about the Te Reo checkouts? Introduced as part of Māori Language Week, which she said yes to. And then Kelly then mentioned the platform again on the phone when talking to her.
Yeah.
And then she said she was rushing off to do an interview with RNZ, so couldn't do it with us. Obviously, she thought we were RNZ. So then I just messaged her.
So this woman may just be incompetent or on drugs.
Well,
yeah, now, this is Kerry Hannaford there.
I don't know. I think it's hard to get to the top of corporate affairs or whatever for Countdown and not be an observant person.
So we've rung her back. We said, well, sorry about your misunderstanding. We haven't misrepresented ourselves at all.
We'd like to offer you the chance to come on the show. The show's open between now and 9 o'clock, and she just refused and said she didn't feel comfortable talking about that issue during Māori Language Week. So, yeah, it looks like a no. But she seemed quite happy to do it with RNZ. Obviously, you mentioned for which you were their primary presenter.
So has she been on RNZ?
No, she hasn't. I checked that.
Figured out she actually done an interview on RNZ?
No, I think the mix-up was she thought that she was going on RNZ and we were RNZ, yeah.
Well, we're better than Radio New Zealand. That is so strange, Ben. It really is. And you must be disappointed. I'm shattered. I'm going to blame you.
I'm shattered, yeah, exactly. That's why, you know. So I thought I'd send a follow-up text, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that one.
I wonder if we don't ring her live on air.
Why not? We've done it before.
We've done it before.
But do I have to be complaints department again for that one?
Yeah, you will.
Oh, okay.
You will. Okay. So what we'll do is we're going to take a break. We're then going to give her a ring live on air and see if she'll answer the phone, and we'll just try and get to it.
Righto.
Hello? Is that Kerry?
Hello. Yeah.
Kerry, it's Sean Plunkett calling from the platform.
Hi.
Hi. We're just trying to figure out what happened this morning.
Oh, look, Sean, I made a mistake. I thought I was in an RNZ interview, which I was happy to take, but I'm not really that keen to sort of be grilled on whether or not, and I could be wrong, I could be, completely misguided by your line of questioning, but I just don't want to be really questioned on whether.
I'm just okay. Can I establish first? So we sent you an email that said we were the platform.
Yeah,
we didn't represent us as Radio New Zealand. And then when we rang, we said, okay, what's the difference between doing an interview on the platform and Radio New Zealand?
On this matter, I just don't really think it's a matter that needs to be, criticised or questioned.
Wow! So shut up, everyone, and obey the totalitarian thug.
So it's basically just a piece of PR spin, and you wanted an easy ride.
Yeah, that's exactly why I don't want to do it with you, for that exact reason.
Wow!
Wow, Kerry, that's an amazing admission. Did you have a whole lot of customers who wanted you to make your checkout robots bilingual?
Sean, I really just don't think it's an appropriate conversation to have.
Well, then why bother putting out a media release singing your praises if you don't want the media to take an interest in your story?
Exactly. But Sean, thugs like her don't want another opinion.
Okay, thank you. Yep. Hear your view. Yep, that's fine. Thanks, Sean. Sorry to muck around your team.
Well, no, you really have. But more than that, Kerry, I think it makes Countdown look like they're not really prepared to enter into genuine public debate about issues of the day, and that you're just trying to kind of, ride on the Te Reo week for your own public relations purposes.
Okay. Well, yeah, thank you for your view. We know that's not correct, but that.
What is correct then, Kerry? What is correct?
Am I on air, Sean?
Yeah.
That's incredibly misleading.
No, it's not. I asked for an interview, and you said you'd give one, so now we're having it.
For these very reasons. No, that's really, really not okay.
Well, I think promising to give an interview and then not giving it isn't okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good day, everybody.
All right. Cheers. Bye. Well, that's amazing because we did get the admission. We don't want to be interviewed because this is just a PR stunt. And we're going to have to go and replay that. So we're going to put that up. We've got two great interviews now out of this. We've got Carl. Someone says, I liked Carl better.
Yeah, so did I. At least it was funny.
Carl, welcome to the program.
How you going, Sean?
I'm good, my friend.
That's the one. Hey, the lady run off on you. I wonder if I could pretend to be her and you could interview me about...
You know what, Carl? In the absence of an interview subject for the next wee while, I think that's an excellent idea. Okay, let's get it.
Fire away. Yeah, so we got a great company here, Sean. Yeah.
You're Carl. You're the head of corporate affairs at Countdown, Carl.
Yeah.
Carl, why did you guys?
It's going great.
Yeah, Carl, why did you guys decide to have Te Reo Maori on your checkout robots, Carl?
Oh, because of the huge number of New Zealanders that speak Te Reo.
All right, so you had an overwhelming call from your customers to have Te Reo with your checkout robots?
I would have said 3/4 of the people that come in here ask us for it. Yeah, it's
all right, so
it's a huge demand, Sean. Yeah. Huge demand.
Is it just coincidence that this happened during Maori Language Week or not?
Oh, hey, there's no coincidences in groceries, Sean. I think we all know that.
Okay. You've been accused, in fact, your entire sector, Carl, has been accused of profligate money grubbing and overcharging for groceries. How much did this project to have the bilingual checkout robots, how much did that cost? And where did you gouge the money off your customers to pay for it?
Sean, the tone of your voice is sounding quite racist, but what I want to say is you can never spend enough on this sort of stuff, Sean. You can never spend enough.
Even at the cost of, putting up the price of basic food products for struggling New Zealanders?
Hey, under this government, Sean, we don't have struggling New Zealanders. I think you all know that. I think this right-wing racist radio station is just trying to push this propaganda. We're the wealthiest we've ever been after the last 5 years of amazing governance, Sean, and like I say, tone down the racism in your voice, please.
Okay, now, Carl, I also understand that Countdown is still enforcing vaccine mandates on its staff. Is that true?
Oh, look, Sean, we don't enforce anything like that. People, all the people that work here have chosen to be vaccinated. There may or may not have been a gun held to their head at the time, but they've all willingly chosen that, and that's been great. We haven't had any adverse side effects.
All right, Carl.
At all. Not
Okay.
one.
Now, one of the great things about Freedom Day yesterday is I don't have to wear a mask to the supermarket anymore. I'm presuming people are going to be flooding through your doors to use the bilingual checkout robots. Do you still want them to wear masks? Are you still going to ask that they be virtue signalling and do that in your supermarkets?
Yeah, we're actually selling more masks now than we ever had. We have the Ukrainian, I Stand With Ukraine version mask. Obviously in Te Reo, Maori, and a lot of rainbow masks, and purple hair dye is also flying off the shelves.
Carl, the standard corporate affairs manager for Countdown. What a brilliant interview, Carl. I thank you very much, my friend, for your sense of humour. And I think what we go out of character now, Carl. I think what we've learned is, and what Kerry Hannaford from Countdown has learned, that if you create a vacuum, someone is going to fill it, aren't they? Carl.
Yeah, it just happened to be me.
Now, folks, I just want to show you another side of this woman. Now, in this clip, does she seem upset by the terrorist attack in New Lynn last year?
So, as someone who looks after safety and well-being, I feel very concerned and deeply, distressed for for all of the weight of that. I feel immensely, my heart hurts for them, but also I feel, very, very upset that people came into our store to shop and just mind their own business, and that something terrible happened to them as well. As the Prime Minister said, it's a terrible random thing. And
No, it wasn't random at all. And nowhere in that 7-minute interview did I hear the words Islamic terrorism mentioned.
We warn you, the images and sounds in this lead story could be distressing. A lone man yelling Allahu Akbar ran through a West Auckland supermarket this afternoon, stabbing people before he was shot dead. Witnesses say it was a horrifying experience that came as a complete shock. 6 people were injured in the attack, 3 of them critically. The Prime Minister called the man a violent extremist who was ISIS-inspired. The attack happened in West Auckland at the Countdown supermarket in the Lynn Mall shopping complex. Mike McRoberts has the story.
The unmistakable sound of terror, shoppers fleeing for their lives, as emergency vehicles rushed to the scene.
This car park went pretty crazy. People were pretty much driving into each other almost to get out of the car park.
Yeah, there was a big bang. I didn't think nothing of it. And then, everybody just started running.
An eyewitness who'd been shopping at Lynn Mall's Countdown saw the first attack unfold.
And then there's this random guy. He just went Allahu Akbar and started stabbing. There's these 2 ladies, white ladies in front of me. He just started stabbing. He just went Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And then I just realized after that, oh my God, I have to run.
She was lucky. The camo-dressed attacker ran past her before he stabbed 4 others, and panic took hold of the shopping complex.
It was just chaos. People just started screaming. And I think it took a while when they just realized, oh my God, there is an attack here,
I was just in there getting my COVID vaccine. And then we were waiting outside of the pharmacy, still inside the mall. And then we heard that someone was getting stabbed. And everyone kind of panicked, but everyone was just sitting down. Everyone was pretty calm. And then we heard about 6 or 7 gunshots. And everyone just kind of freaked out. Everyone ran into the pharmacy.
Multiple gunshots were heard, and later police confirmed the man was shot dead. Of his 6 victims, 3 are in a critical condition, and 2 in a moderate condition. The Prime Minister leaving little doubt this was a terror attack.
This afternoon at approximately 2:40 p.m, a violent extremist undertook a terrorist attack on...
Wow, he must have been one of those right-wing extremists I keep hearing about. Now today I want to finish with a sample of an excellent article about Te Reo written by Graham Adams and read by Sean Plunkett, and hat tip to Peter Rhodes for this one.
So I'm not trying to steal your thunder, Graham. I honour you and your writing by what I'm about to do. So here it is. To mark the beginning of Māori Language Week, veteran journalist Janet Wilson began a Listener magazine story, quote, "It's the language that refuses to die despite efforts across generations to kill it," close quotes. There was no explanation in the succeeding 6 pages of what the writer meant by her opening statement, no doubt because in the long-running and simplistic morality play staged everywhere in our media, the protagonists and antagonists need no introduction. It is, according to received wisdom, the malign machinations of Pākehā that suppress Te Reo across generations. On Newsroom this week, a senior lecturer in the University of Auckland School of Psychology, Dr. Makarena Dudley, referred to some kaumātua having had their first language, Te Reo Māori, suppressed in early childhood as a result of colonial practices. In The Guardian, Charlotte Graham Maclay wrote that some in the older generations of Māori were beaten at school for speaking the language. The accusation that Māori had their language beaten out of them at school has become common shorthand for the widespread belief that it was Pākehā who were almost entirely to blame for the dwindling fortunes of Te Reo over the past 180 years or more. For that reason, many people are shocked or disbelieving when they are told that prominent Māori were among those pushing most energetically for English to be the only medium of instruction in native schools. Those schools were set up in 1867 as a nationwide system of secular primary schools for Māori children, for which Hapu provided the land, while the government provided the buildings and the teachers. It is an equally inconvenient fact that it was Pākehā missionaries who from the early 19th century were determined to teach Māori children in Te Reo, often against the wishes of Māori themselves, who saw proficiency in English as the key to success in trade and politics and as a gateway to the outside world. In 1871, the newly elected MP for Eastern Māori, Karaitiana Takamoana, pointed out in Parliament that missionaries had been teaching children for many years and the children are not educated. They have only taught them in the Māori language. The whole of the Māoris in this island request that the government should give instructions that the Māoris should be taught in English only. Takamoana was not a lone voice. A petition by Witi Hakiro and 336 others presented to the House of Representatives in 1876 recommended there should not be a word of Māori allowed to be spoken in the school, and the master, his wife and children should be persons altogether ignorant of the Māori language, so they would not default to Māori in the school. He requested that neither Māori nor Pākehā children should be allowed to speak Te Reo in the school playground. There were many more petitions, including one in 1877 by Renata Kawipo and 790 others, and Riripi Rapata and 200 others, requesting that, quote, the government should use every endeavour to have schools established throughout the colony so that the Māori children may learn the English language, for by this they will be on the same footing as the Europeans and will become acquainted with the means by which the Europeans have become great, close quotes. And then we go to the granddaddy of them all, I guess. Aparana Ngata, who served as Minister of Native Affairs, was ranked 3rd in Cabinet and whose image graces our $50 note. He mounted a campaign in the 1920s and 30s to have English given priority in Māori primary schools. He argued that proficiency in the English language was the key with which to open the door to the sciences and mechanised world and many other callings. Furthermore, it was an approach enthusiastically endorsed by Māori parents in 1930. Ngāta stated that the primary purpose of the native schools was to teach English. Māori parents do not like their children being taught in Māori, even in the Māori schools, as they argue that the children are sent there to learn English and the ways of the English.
Yeah, now folks, I'll stop it there. And folks, I've posted a link to this along with other links below.